What's up, flamethrowers? It's me, Flame the Dragon Hog here, and welcome to another creepypasta story. If you guys hear any weird noises, that's the washer. Sorry, guys. Anywho, guys, this is another creepypasta made by none other than my girlfriend Gleam the hedgedragon. Yeah, she really got into making these creepypastas. Who knows? She might make more in the future. Just gotta wait and see. Anywho, today this creepypasta was made by her called Hopeful Mary. Yeah, this one is definitely sad. But anyway, hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. It's a really sad one. You're definitely gonna cry. Maybe you might cry. I don't know. But anyway, here we go. Proud. No, I almost said Proud Mary. Sorry. I meant to say Hopeful Mary. Our story takes place in a small town. And in that small town lived a little girl by the name of Mary. She was 4 years old, living with her mother and father, who she loved very, very much. She loved her parents with all her heart. However, there was one thing going on in that household that no one knows about. Her mother and father may have been lovey-dovey in the past. However, as the years went by, they just started to hate each other and often argue a lot. And often argue over the smallest of things, like leaving the smallest amount of juice in the refrigerator, or leaving the cabinet door open, or, dare I say, leaving the faucet running in the bathroom as the water dripped. They would argue over the tiniest of things, and as for Mary, she had to put up with it. But she would often tell her parents that she was tired of it and wish they would go back to the way they were before. However, they never listened to a thing that she said, only because she was 4 years old and needed to stay in a child's place. As the months went by, her parents just argued over and over again, making Mary more and more depressed. However, the only other friend that Mary had to talk to was a small little teddy bear, the only ray of hope that her parents got back together and worked things out. Why? Because when they were still lovey-dovey in the past, they gave her that teddy bear. And they would hope that teddy bear would actually bring them back together again. However, one night, everything changed. One night, as Mary was tucked in bed in her snuggly blue pajamas, cuddling her teddy bear, she woke up to the sound of her parents arguing once again. Only this time, it was about who was going to do the dishes. She couldn't believe it that her parents was going off just because of the dishes. That's when the father finally had enough of his wife, and they both agreed on one thing. They decided to get a divorce. Mary was devastated to hear that her family was about to be split apart. She cried so silently that her family didn't even hear. She looked up at the ceiling and continued to hear her parents argue and fight over who gets custody of her. At that point, she just couldn't take it anymore. She hopped out of bed, clenching the teddy bear by its little fluffy arm, and ran out to her parents, yelling and screaming, saying that she wished everything could go back to the way they were, how they were her parents and not enemies anymore, as she sobbed silently. But unfortunately, her parents never listened. At that moment, Mary just had enough and needed to get away from her crazy parents. She ran out of the house. But as soon as the door opened, her parents soon paid attention and chased after her. Unaware of it, Mary ran into the street, not paying attention where she was going. At that moment, a car came speeding down the road. It didn't even see Mary and hit her, sending her flying and landing right on the hard pavement. It was a really, really tragic horror scene. Mary lost a lot of blood that night. They quickly rushed her to the hospital in hopes that their little girl would be saved. However, due to the impact of both getting hit by the car and getting and hitting that hard pavement and losing a lot of blood, there was no chance Mary survived. That night, Mary passed on. That night, Mary passed on. Both her parents were really upset and devastated, and they blamed each other. And for once, they agreed. Because of them not listening to their daughter's feelings, and because of the constant arguing, they put their daughter through so much pain and suffering, which drove her to her death. They both really regret their decisions, and in hopes that Mary is watching over them through heaven, that they decided to stay together in hopes that Mary's wishes were granted. And they decided not to get a divorce. Months have passed ever since Mary's death, and her parents living together once again. They were on the verge of having a new baby, in hopes that this time, if they ever argue again, they would listen to it. But as they were cleaning up Mary's old room to make room for the new baby, they saw something in the corner that they did not believe at all. They saw something unbelievable. It was a pale white girl. Wearing the same blue pajamas Mary wore that night, with her long blonde hair, holding that very teddy bear. And at that moment they knew it was Mary. Well, her ghost. The mother cried with joy. Couldn't believe she was seeing her daughter again, even in the afterlife. She walked over to Mary, but Mary stopped her. Mary then flew over to her and hugged her really tightly. She couldn't believe it. Her parents actually fulfilled her hopes and dreams that they would stay together. The mother, the father, and the ghost of Mary all cried that night. All cried that day. And the mother apologized to Mary many, 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 many times for not listening to them. The ghost of Mary, she gave them a nice soft smile and soon disappeared. From that day, all that remained was Mary's teddy bear. And every day they always visited her grave together as a family. Even with their new child, they still paid respects to their lost child. Because of her, they stayed together as a family. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, the ghost of Mary was still lurking around that house, watching over them and hoping nothing like that ever happens again. Anyway, That's it for this video, guys. What did you guys think? Honestly, I thought it was a great story. I honestly thought it was a great story. I honestly thought it was a great story, guys. I mean, think about it. At 4 years old, Mary had to put up with her parents arguing. And honestly, that is really traumatizing for a kid at any age. Seeing and hearing your parents, arguing and fighting over the littlest of things. Trust and believe me, guys, that is really hard on a kid, especially if it's a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old. But anyway, hopefully Mary's parents learned. Well, I am glad that Mary's parents did learn their lesson. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and comment down below. And special shout out to Gleam the hedgedragon for making yet another amazing creepypasta. Keep up the good work, babe. You're doing great. Anyway, and if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that way you guys will be up to date whenever I post. And guys, I might be getting back into the creepypasta game and make up some creepypastas myself. Who knows? But anyway, this is Flame the Dragon Hog signing out for now. Later, flamethrowers.